Local legends.
I've got to be able to also be right mentally. And you're not always going to be right mentally, but, there's a good opportunity to, if you can be consistent in what you're doing day to day. It's hard sometimes when you're playing cricket all the time and on the road and in front of people's eyes. You sometimes you lose the who you are as a person, which is makes it quite difficult sometimes.
Weathers, I reckon that's superb in terms of incredible honesty, and I think we're all guilty of forgetting that your life is lived publicly. And the other thing too, as a first class cricketer, you're travelling so much. It's really forgotten. And you're a classic example at the moment. People wouldn't realise that Jake Weatherald's over in Perth at the moment because he's not playing in the game. They would think, well, we'd be back in Tasmania, etc. And people just don't realise. And then that pressure that does put on relationship-wise. And I think that's a really mature, fantastic, honest way of looking at it, Jake.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's one of those things where you just want to, you want to give your career the best. You want to give it the best opportunity and stuff like that. But also, there's just like no point really unless you're like in a good enough mind frame to be able to do it. There's just, unfortunately, sport doesn't lend you to be in a mind frame where you're not enjoying it because, unfortunately, it's just too hard lines in terms of performance and stuff like that. So, and you're also doing a disservice to the people around you, your teammates. And not only that, obviously your family as well because you're stressing out so much. So, it is. I've got a lot better at it, and I really appreciate the opportunities that cricket's given me in terms of travel, and I really think it's an amazing thing. Obviously, being the fact that it's given me an incredible life, it's given me so many great opportunities to be what I wanted to do in sport, but also, you sort of have to understand that not everyone finds it as enjoyable as what it can be sometimes. It can be also, like any job, I think, can be quite miserable sometimes. So.
That's fantastic, mate, for sharing that. Was there a moment or a person that sort of set you on the right course, so to speak?
Yeah, my partner was so good at that. She was awesome. Me and her have been together for nearly 13 years now.
Come on,
so.
Name, please.
Yeah.
Come on, Weathers. Come on. We've got to give you... and I was going to give a mention of you getting married soon, and that was coming to that, so come on. Name, please.
Yeah, so her name's Rachel.
Yep.
Her name's Rachel, so she we've been together since school.
I knew it was a while.
So we've been together a long time, but she's been incredible for me. I probably would have retired, to be fair, if I wasn't for her. So I probably would have just given up cricket and sort of just gone on a more of a under the radar sort of job, or probably try to make sure my life was a bit less hectic. So thankfully for her, she sort of was big on making sure that I did what I loved, and I do love playing cricket. So she's been awesome. She was probably the person that sort of made sure that while I was in bad places, she was the constant no matter what.
Yeah, no, that's great. And
very important.
Trying to remember, and is it Italy trying to remember where you're getting married? And of course, you've got the big fella in Harry Conway on memory. Is that correct, Weathers? Test my memory.
Yeah, he's a celebrant. So
that could be entertaining.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're going over to Italy next year in April. So we're pretty excited for that. It's only about 40 of us going over. If obviously the Weatheralds, there's so many of them, it was going to be impossible to invite everyone. So we sort of said, we'll go over to Italy and sort of avoid the fact that everyone's going to have to be they're not going to want to come either. But at the same time, like, I didn't want to put any pressure on them to, want to come all the way to Italy, especially with all the families and stuff like that. So we just thought,
there is 8 million Weatheralds. That's a fair point. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, no, there's tons of them. So we just I sort of said, we'll avoid all that. We had like an engagement party where a few people, most of my family came, which was great. So, I was happy.
And so deciding to go to Tasmania, Jake, just go through that, mate.
Yeah, it was a strange one, to be fair. I remember just sitting there with my partner, and she's like, "Oh, have you ever reached out to any other states to potentially do a bit of a move and try something a bit different?" We messaged the coach, Jeff Vaughan, obviously knowing him.
Yep.
And he was like, "Yeah, we'd be really keen." So it wasn't to do with the fact that I didn't like soccer or anything. It was just an opportunity to do something a bit different. I'd been at soccer for a long time, and I felt as though that there might be an opportunity to grow under the playing group there in Tassie. They're obviously going quite well, and quite a strong organisation at the moment. So it's been a move that I probably felt as though it was just an opportunity to learn, and I just felt as I needed to do something a bit different. So I was quite happy with the move in terms of what it's brought me, and it's brought us new challenges. Obviously, struggling to get a game because they're winning everything, and so it's been really good in terms of that. But I think it's just a new challenge, which I'm really excited for.
Now, we've got to back up a little bit here and talk about that your Matador Cup form earned you a contract for the Adelaide Strikers.
Yeah, good point. Yes.
Yeah. So, that was a bit of a shell shock, really. I barely played any T20 cricket, and T20 cricket was sort of just coming through in the clubland, so I hadn't really played much. So when I went and had done well on my white ball stuff in terms of red ball, to the 50 over stuff, I sort of jumped into a T20 side, and I was absolutely useless, to be fair. I had no idea what I was doing. I was slogging everything. So I sort of learned on the fly a little bit, and then it sort of took me a couple of years or a year and a bit to sort of blossom into the player I probably wanted to be. And then once I sort of understood my game a bit better, cricket it was awesome. I really enjoyed the T20, a bit of a breakaway from red ball cricket and 50 over cricket, and just a bit more of like the entertainment sort of part of it all, which is quite cool as a cricketer, I think.
Yeah, I think you really relate well with the crowd on the boundary and that sort of stuff. You take that. I think that's something you really embrace, which probably some players do a bit under sufferance, where I think it's something where you really enjoy doing, and you can see that. I have sat with Mick at, I reckon it was a New Year's Eve game, just wandered in and ran into Mick, and I think it was Lucy, I reckon, who was quite excited that she was sitting with me to watch you, and so that was quite funny.
Yeah, it is cool. Yeah, it is. It's a cool thing, you don't, it's like, your idols, per se, my idols aren't always cricketers, but they're like, musicians or people that have entertained and stuff like that, and they're things that, they're not, it's not a vanity sort of thing. It's more of like a thing that you might want to inspire people to do things that you've done, or, want to be a part of their lives in some way. And I think it's a great opportunity to do that.
And the Strikers obviously having a little bit of success there in, 17, 18?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, it was a great thing. Yeah. It was one of those things where we played amazingly that year. And then, it was a big thing for South Australia as well to finally, get that monkey off our back a little bit in terms of some silverware, apart from the one-day stuff that happened a bit earlier. It was great. I thought it was awesome for the state.
Probably one thing about the Big Bash, and I'm a traditional cricket nut. And if South Australia win the Shield, which unfortunately doesn't happen very often,
you'll go missing for a week.
I sort of disappear for a week or two, and that when that with the one-day final, the 2020 final, and you made 100 in the final, 2 weathers, so there was certainly a lot of celebration amongst the fact that you smashed them that game and that. But after we'd won, I was sitting with Mark Robinson, and it was, okay, see you, mate, catch you in the week. And where, for me, South Australia to win something is huge, and yet, for me, the Strikers in that way, just because it's a 2020, it's a franchise and not your state bit. And as we know, I think there were 2 or 3 players who actually left within 24 hours of us winning. I think it was Colin Ingram, I reckon Benny Lachlan, and someone else, I reckon, on memory. So that was a little bit different as well for you as players.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
What's your thoughts there, Jake? You know where I'm coming from.
Cricket's a strange sport like that. It's so different to footy and basically every other sport in the world, where soccer's probably a little bit similar, where you can play for multiple different teams and you can move and play different tournaments and stuff. But in terms of cricket, there's just so much cricket nowadays that you're playing back to back, and then if you're overseas, you're moving off, and there's just so much going on that, like, I play a Shield game 5 days later. So in the preparation, you have different coaches. I remember Jamie calling me saying, like, mate, you better be ready to go tomorrow for training. And that was the day after the win. So we sort of like, it's sort of like you're constantly thinking about the next thing. So I remember it's a good example with obviously the World Cup that the boys just won recently.
Yeah. Like we haven't found Travis yet.
And they've got to play a T20 game not long later. So the
Ridiculous.
celebration part of it's more of a money-making thing and a more of a, not saying that Gonna Make Shield cricket is money-making, but it's sort of on the preface where everyone's, unfortunately, the train all pre-season, play all year, then finish and then celebrates. That stuff's sort of slowly eking away or not happening as much anymore in cricket.
Yeah, and I hate that. I've got to, you know me as a traditionalist, and I just think it's very rare that you win something, and it should be
You can't celebrate it.
Well, it should be done appropriately, and not let's be honest, Australia win the World Cup. It's meant to be the World Cup, the pinnacle, and we're playing a bloody 2020 game 2 days later, and it's ridiculous. It's just money.
No, it is
It
amazing,
is. It's just money. It's money hungry. It's not money making. It's money hungry. Is probably.
Yeah.
I can probably say that a bit easier than you, Jake. And as we know, cricket can be funny in that regard of who says what. But I just think we've lost the game has lost the plot to some extent.
That's
a way of putting
it. The movement and stuff. Yeah, definitely.
Now, we've been talking about your team success, some individual success, winning the 2017 Bradman Young Cricketer of the Year award.
Yeah, there's been a little bit. I don't like talking about my individual success because, I've enjoyed some success, which has been good. It's always a good thing to go and play sport. You play in a team sport, but if to be an important part of the cog is an awesome thing as well too. So you sort of have to. There are times throughout my career that I've done things that I've been very proud of myself and helping my team win games, which is the great thing about sport, being a part of that. It's all good to win games, but if you're not doing anything in those winning teams, sometimes it's a bit hard to keep your head up. But to be a part of some great wins and some part of great games and having good individual performances has been pretty cool. So
absolutely,
there's been a few individual things I'm very proud of, but at the same time, as I said, being a part of this Tasmanian side, I'm not even a part of the team, but being a part of a squad that's been successful over the last 4 or 5 months or last 4 months has been pretty cool as well. Sorry, they probably didn't get as much when I was at the Redbacks, so it's been cool. Yeah,
absolutely.
So looking at things to the future, Weathers, what's up in the world for Jake off field in terms of for the future in general? Because it's obviously something you've now got the balance where you admit, hey, I've got to take time off here and that. So what's the thoughts overall for the future there, Jake?
Yeah, I think I'm in a good position to play for another 5 or 6 years, hopefully. So I'm hopefully trying to do that, which is the goal. Obviously, kick into late in your 30s. I think I'll probably invest in myself a lot more in terms of my body and stuff like that, and obviously my mind. So, and after that, I'm not too sure, to be absolutely fair with you, but I'll probably try to figure out ways of probably staying in cricket a little bit, but also trying to do something a little bit different as well too. Where that takes me, I'm not too sure. But
I admit that does fascinate me a bit with you, Jake. So there might have been, I was trying to say, wondering which way that would go because you're a thoughtful person. I wondered if conservation and anything like that, which is sort of a Jake Weatherald personality part where that's involved, possibly. Who knows?
Yeah, probably there are probably elements of that in there. There are probably elements of political stuff I probably get into a little bit as well too. But at the same time, I'm not overly sure right now. But I'm certainly investing in times. I'm trying to figure out things. I definitely understand that there's a lot more to life than just playing sport. So and I'd love to be a part of society outside of sport. So wherever that takes me, I'm sure I'll find something that I'm passionate about, and then take that on.
There might be hopefully a couple of little Weatheralds running around as well in the future. So, yeah.
Exactly right. Yeah, I'm sure there will be.
Yeah.
Now, mate, did you get an opportunity to converse with the Australian team at some stage during your career?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I've been very lucky that I've been able to play with a lot of the Australian players, but also be able to have some training sessions. I was up at the NPS or the National Performance Centre for 6 months.
That's right, yeah.
And I was up there for 6 months, so spending time to train with a lot of the Australian players there. Got to travel to India, train over there with the MRF and Glenn McGrath and stuff like that. And I was been very fortunate to train with some amazing cricketers. some obviously like some proper superstars, which is probably been the coolest part of my career so far. I think the thing that I probably only tell my kids about my career is the fact that I get to play with some of these guys, which has been the Australian team is obviously the thing that you when you go and train with them, it's something that you just that's all you've thought about as a kid. So I've been lucky enough to train with them a few times, which has been good. So.
Part of one of the most famous catches in cricket history, I reckon you'll be able to tell future Weatheralds about as well, mate.
Yeah, exactly right. I'll definitely throw that in there. The world's greatest catch.
Yes.
Courtesy of Ben Lachlan.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yes. No, you played your part. You caught the flick back. Yeah.
I did a little bit, I guess.
You did the important part. Bugger what Benny did. Yeah. Mind you, that was a fair catch though, wasn't it? Yes.
We might have to hunt that one down and put it on our socials.
It is pretty,
for sure.
It is pretty specky.
Absolutely.
I think it was probably the highlight of the Big Bash for telecast there for a while. So
yeah, it was pretty cool.
Back for the Strikers again, Jake. Probably a little bit up in the air where you hopefully bat. Will we hopefully see you at the top and hopefully see you and. Well, Alex probably won't. Alex will hopefully be the Australian side. Who knows after the ridiculous World Cup selection. And that, but hopefully if you're batting with Alex, we don't see some more Graham Wood, Rick Darling running between the wickets between the two of you.
And I'm not too sure what's going to happen this year. We've got a few different recruits, so I'm happy to jump down into the middle order as well. Whatever I sort of I like to think I'm pretty versatile in my role. I'm over in Perth now, just sort of honing my skills and getting ready. Obviously with all the boys playing red ball cricket still, me not being a part of that squad, so I'm just coming over here to get ready for whatever happens in the future.
So who's your batting coach over there at the moment with you, Jake?
I've got a guy called Tom Scully. We're about to get us some balls now, actually. So we're just getting ready. He's one of the guys who does a thing called cricket mentoring over in Perth. So he's really good mates with a guy called Chris Rogers, who I'm very close mates with, the coach of Victoria, and I did a lot of work with. And then so they have very similar theories. So we're all very close mates. So I just come across here and spend a few days over here training and getting ready, and sort of gets me away from Tassie, which the weather's been a bit miserable the last few days. So
it's terrible over here today, mate.
Adelaide's
it was
not much better.
Incredible. It's not often
I was in Adelaide for about an hour last night. It was shocking.
Oh, he bucketed down. Bucket being the operative word. And talking of the Strikers too, there is a bit of an amusing thing where David Payne from England, last week's guest, was David Payne, the ex-Nord footballer Weathers. So Payne's pretty keen to throw the word around that he's been signed by the Strikers as well. So he's playing that line today, Payne. So yes.
Very good,
Look, Jake, all the best for the future. Obviously, you desperately hope you get back in the Tasmanian Shield side. I think you took your shocking decision in Adelaide here in South Australia. That was so they're at the Shield game. Sat with Jake's mum for a fair while. Jake got given out, caught behind. I reckon, say that was 3:40. I reckon Jake's mum drove out of the car park at 3:41. And I came over and sat with Jake afterwards because I went and asked, where's Agar? I said, did Jake hit that? He said, he's nowhere near it, Malcolm. And, so then we had a chat there. So you're bloody unlucky because you were hitting him all right then. So hopefully there's some runs to come for Tasmania, gets in the Shield side, and good luck in the Big Bash. And I'm sure I'll catch up with you at some stage at Adelaide Oval during the Big Bash and that Weathers. And we greatly appreciate you giving up your time over in WA today, mate.
No worries at all. I appreciate having me, guys.
Thanks, Weathers. Fantastic to have you on today.
Thanks, mate.
Greatly appreciated, Jake.
Mate.
Touch base soon. Thanks, mate.
See you guys.
Cheers.
Bye.
Liking this podcast? Please like, rate, and subscribe.